Can you provide advice for someone who wants to get married but is struggling to find a compatible partner who practices deen in the same way? This is a very, very common question we get asked, subhanAllah. Very popular question. And a difficult one because of the fact that there's so much to talk about. But I think the first thing is learn what to look for in a spouse. And I think that there are some great lectures out there. Also, the books of Sheikh Muhammad al-Jibali, very, very good books. The 4 books, which are the books Closer Than a Garment, and The Fragile Vessels, and Our Precious Sprouts, and The Quest for Love and Mercy is the first one. So The Quest for Love and Mercy is a very, very good book. And as a result of that, ask yourself, am I looking for the right person, or am I being unnecessarily difficult about who I'm looking for? Because we do see that from people. We see people sometimes put conditions that are not practical for anybody to follow and are not actually practical for anyone to find. You know, sometimes I see brothers and the brother's like, yeah, you know, well, he's like, first of all, she has to be very religious. She has to be a yaataalibah ilm, seeker of knowledge, hafidha of the Quran. She has to be actively studying. She has to be incredibly beautiful. She has to have never left the house. She has to wear, you know, obviously, you know, full niqab and abaya and everything like that. She has to be interested in all the things I'm interested in. And while the brother's telling me, I'm like, أخي, يعني في الجنة بإذن الله تعالى. يعني في الجنة إن شاء الله you'll get it إن شاء الله تعالى. لكن في هذه الدنيا, what you're asking for is very, very hard to find. And it's not just that. Let's just say you find this woman who is طالبة علم and حافظة and متنقبة, and she's also incredibly beautiful, and she's also got excellent manners, and she likes everything you like. أخي, معلش, but how do I know? How do you know that she's going to like you? ما يدريك. What makes you think that she is going to like you? Sometimes people put really, really extremely difficult conditions, and they do that in such a way that they make it very hard to find people. And same can be said for the sisters also, 100%. You know, he has to be really religious, really rich, really handsome. If you suffice yourself with 2 out of 3, maybe you find it, inshallah. Like, you know, he has to have an excellent job, but he's never compromised his deen in it. You're making things very, very hard, especially when on top of that you've got the parents' views. He has to be from this particular village. Wallahi, ajib, yani. So now we're looking for a really rich, really religious, hafidh, talib ilm, really, really wealthy, incredibly handsome guy, and we're also looking for him to live in that village. And we're making things nearly impossible to find. And sometimes when I see the reasons people reject proposals, Sahih, look, honestly, you're marrying someone for your life, so, you know, for the rest of your life, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So, you know, you do want to be serious about it, but sometimes people are like, I'm just not attracted to her, I'm just not attracted to him. But like, mashallah, everything is there, the deen and everything, and, you know, I'm just not attracted to him. I'm not saying it's not to be taken into account. Being attracted to someone is important, but sometimes people are just putting things there that they are looking for this impossible person, and usually the reason they're looking for them is sometimes because of this whole Photoshop culture that we live in, where the picture of everybody you see is photoshopped and their lives are basically faked on social media. These kind of like fake Instagram lives that people live, where they don't actually live them, but what they do is they just pretend. And I achieved things the other day. I was just walking down the road, and while I'm walking down the street, there was some office buildings, and they were lit up. Like the windows were all, the lights were all on, and the office building was kind of in front of me, just on the side of me. And I just looked, and I saw this office building, and the room is like it's like a, what do you call it? It's like a little studio for filming, sort of like some kind of social media influencer has a studio. And if you look through the lens of the camera, you would have just thought, wow, this person's life is just, what a life, This is just luxury and beauty and, happiness and all of that. Like, in that luxury and beauty and happiness was painted into a tiny corner of the room, and the rest of the room was just a regular room, in a quite a dirty office building, in a kind of cold, wet and miserable kind of day, in a kind of nondescript location. I just find it amazing, and we could be guilty of that. Like, this is a nice set, you can see behind me, it looks nice, and all that. And if you looked at the whole room, you would see the whole room doesn't look like this. The whole room looks kind of a bit, run down and what have you. But what I mean by that is that we're so affected by people's Instagram lives, the lives that they put out on camera, that we actually have very unrealistic expectations of what we should find in real life. Because the guy walks down the street and every woman he sees is photoshopped. On the billboards, magazines, yeah, he should look at the ground, that's for sure. Like, the reality is, he goes and he looks around, and every woman he sees on every picture, video, advert has been manipulated. She's not real. She doesn't exist. Somebody has come and made a little bit thinner and taken the marks off her skin, and and even in real life, he also meets people who are, if he's out in the world of work, who are not presenting their regular daily lives. They make a huge effort to look really good for the office. They make a huge effort to kind of behave as though their life is really, really good. But you also don't see them in real life, so to speak. And I think that shaitan also whispers into the heart of a person that every woman he looks at as he walks down the street is incredibly beautiful, which she isn't. It's just that the shaitan sits on his eyes and makes him think like that. So in the end of the day, people have very unrealistic expectations of what they should actually find and what they should actually look for. And when they see a regular, a good practicing Muslim girl who has all the things they should be looking for, because the shaitan is sat on their eyes and they think that everyone they see in the street is just so amazingly good looking, and then the posters are all photoshopped and people are watching Instagram and YouTube shorts and whatever of fake lives that are not real at all. In the same way, this set behind me is not real in the sense, it's physically there, but it's, if you look like a meter to the left or a meter to the right, it's just a plain room. People get caught up in that and they start to believe that that's someone they should be looking for, and they actually don't end up finding them.